1, 2, 3, 4. Chop, chop, chop.
It's cure of the what now?
Gather the ingredients.
Cure of the what now?
Not much time to prep before it's time to start the show.
Oh!
Guests are arriving.
Cure of the what now?
Everybody's smiling.
Cure of the what now?
A tasty party starting. Now it's time to go. Woo!
Ooh, served hot and fresh.
Itadakimasu. Hello, fellow pathetic failures, and welcome to episode 11?
14.
14, my goodness. We're just rolling along this season. Welcome to episode 14 of Cure of the What Now?
Cure of the what now?
The one show where we know school is hard. It would be better if we were studying snack science.
Snack science, interesting. Would Professor Himari be there?
She absolutely would, right?
Okay.
All the English language proverbs that we have to study would be about snacks. Math, you would be calculating the number of slices a pie can be cut into to optimize, crust to filling ratio for a given group of people. We can make this work. We can make school more snacks again.
Absolutely. And who are you?
I'm Kat, and I am Papa's princess. I love my
nice.
Papa, just like Akko-chan.
Very, very nice. Very
Is it
nice.
Chan or Chan, do you think?
What? It's Chan, I think.
Okay. I feel like, you know how English language speakers, usually Americans, do that thing where they overpronounce foreign words so that
Sure.
they sound cultured? I've heard a lot of people be like Chan, but I think you're right. I think it's Chan.
Okay, we can go back and we can rewatch episodes where they refer to younger members of the cast, and we can try to listen to it.
We could solve this mystery. Thank you, my partner in crime.
Yes, and I am your co-host, Joel, and, I am the lead singer of the hot new pop idol group that's secretly evil that's come to Majorland.
You're secretly what?
Secretly hot?
That's not a secret. Everyone, my husband is very good to look at. You should all be jealous that this is an audio-only medium. Just wanted to throw that out there.
Fascinating.
Oh no, have I made you uncomfortable? Am I going to need to speak to HR? Pete is HR.
Hey guys! No,
Hello,
just kidding. So, really quick, I realized as I was looking at the Sweet episodes, if we continue alternating from now till the end of the season, we'll end up with an odd man out. We'll have episodes 45 and 46, or no, 46 and 47, but the season ends on 48. So, Kat, our executive producer, has decided that we will be watching all three as a finale episode. That last one's probably not going to have a lot to talk about. It's probably going to be, it's going to hint at Hibiki applying for a music college and Kanade showing to a sweet shop or something.
No, it won't even do that much because Go Princess was the first season that showed them going toward their futures.
Oh, okay, so then maybe 48 is going to be the finale where they defeat the bad guy.
Maybe it will be, I guess we'll see. But yeah, so we'll finish those three as a trio and discuss them as a set because they'll probably be,
pretty closely
46 leads into 47 and then 48 is the wrap up. But that's not what we're talking about this week. We're a few weeks away from that.
Yeah, it was just the news announcement segment, so I figured I would shout that out.
You would share some news and or announcements?
Mm-hmm, yeah, that's what I was
Excellent.
thinking. So I have come up with a fun game that we're going to play for our lead-in discussion.
Okay.
We're still going to be working with a hypothetical season of PreCure. But what's going to happen is I'm going to give you some pieces of what I'm thinking of, and this is actually going to be a PreCure series based off of something else.
Okay.
Probably a work of fiction, a video game or a TV show or a movie or something, but it could also just be based off of the country of Germany, And so I'm going to give you a couple of pieces, and I'll tell you when I've given you them all, so no premature guessing, and then you can try and, figure out if you can figure out what I'm sneaking in.
Okay. I will figure out what you're figuring out to sneaking in.
My apologies, my brain is literal soup. Okay.
Have Have you had an MRI to confirm that? Because I feel like that would be extremely concerning to any medical doctors. Or publishable. The fact that you're still functioning with a soup brain.
I guess that's true. See, I just assumed that because our dog was licking my ears like crazy, it must mean that, like, there's something tasty in there, I don't know.
That's the peanut butter. I store it in there for later.
Excellent. All right. Let's start with the color scheme of the cures, because I think that's very important. You're obviously going to have your pink leader. You're going to have a blue, a red, and a yellow. And the secret cure, the sixth ranger, will be black themed, which is, I think, kind of an interesting idea to go with.
Okay.
We have the motif or the theme for the season. I'm not really sure, because those are slightly different. Mm-hmm. But you would have, protecting the environment, especially animals. The MacGuffins to collect will be 7 brightly colored gems.
All right, so it's Sonic. Anyway, sorry, tell me the last one. And then I'll guess.
So the transformation items would be bracelets or rings.
Haha, it is Sonic. At first I was like Kirby, but then you threw me for a loop with black because I was expecting Meta Knight's color to be purple.
Okay. I might do silver if I were to do a Meta Knight PreCure.
Okay,
to go with the mask.
That's fair, yeah. Also, I was stuck on, so obviously pink would be Kirby, blue would be Waddle Dee.
Okay.
But then... Or not Waddle Dee, would be King Dedede.
Red could be Waddle Dee.
Red would be Waddle Dee, but I was like, who is yellow? That doesn't matter. I'm going to set that aside. There is technically a yellow Kirby called, like, Kubi or something.
Yeah, it's Kibi. Kiiby, because ki is the Japanese word for yellow.
That's right. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
But then we moved on, and I was like, okay, I see where this is going. I love that, actually. I think that would be an amazing season, especially because one of my favorite things about Go Princess was that the bad guys were robots, kind of. I love the idea of an Eggman-style villain who wants to, like, turn the world into robot world. That's also Kirby, by the way. I can tell you so many things about Kirby if you are interested outside of this podcast.
Absolutely. So the one thing that when I was thinking of this, I was like, oh, Kat would love a PreCure season based off of Sonic. And I figured there would be 3 cures, blue, red, and yellow. But then when I decided to turn this into a game, I figured that that trio of colors would be a little obvious. And B, the fact that there was no pink cure. But obviously Amy Rose, through the rules of pink being the main color, the Amy Rose character would be the main character. The yellow character would be the youngest, and they would also be the kind of brainiac, and red would punch really hard.
It's funny, too, because you could actually do a version of what you're suggesting, but with only Sonic ladies. So instead of Tails, the yellow would be a Cream analog. Okay,
so Cream, Amy... Who else do we have? Wasn't there Blaze? Was she a lady?
Blaze isn't a girl, but for blue, you could have the cat. Do you know the psychic cat?
Yeah, Blaze the cat.
Oh, I thought you said Big the cat.
Oh, okay, no. Blaze the cat and Silver, I think is his name. They showed up as a pair or something.
I was also thinking Rouge could be in there as red.
Yeah. Rouge could also, she could be the secret cure if you were to focus only on the ladies of PreCure, because... she's secretly a good guy. What?
Can you imagine a duo PreCure season based on Amy Rose and Cream? And kind of the dynamic is that Amy Rose is too assertive and Cream is too withdrawn.
Too timid or whatever. Okay. Yeah,
and
I like that.
Rouge joins them as the secret third cure.
And her secret is that she can kick really good.
Mm-hmm.
She's a femme fatale, but in a PreCure set, I don't know how that would work.
Kind of like Gentlu, I think.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely.
This is a great discussion question. I like this. I hope that I did not steal your thunder by being too excited to guess.
Oh, no. I specifically said, wait till I've given you all the clues, and you circumvented that.
That's okay. I didn't hear that. I wasn't listening.
You cheated a little bit. That's fine.
Listen, I was just excited about how smart I am. I have a terminal teacher's pet disease. If I know the right answer, I have to say it.
Well, it's possible that next week we will do this again if either of us comes up with some hints that could kind of point to the correct answer. But, there's some other ideas that I've been cooking up in my brain.
Ooh,
so
I like your brain kitchen. That's where you make the soup.
Absolutely. Now, would you like some succinct summaries, just a heaping pile of them?
I would love that, but do you know what you told me we were going to start doing?
What's that?
You said we were going to start front-loading. These are the things we'll be watching next week.
Oh, yes. See, this is why you're the producer of this podcast. You remember things. You know things.
My brain is not soup.
Yeah.
It's just a colony of angry bees. You might be asking yourself, is it necessary that the bees are angry? Yes.
Okay, it's the anger that gives off the brainwaves?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
The angrier they are, the harder they go bzzz, and that's what makes the brain slime work.
Absolutely. Now, we are quite a ways away from the Max Heart movie, so next week we will be covering episodes 38 and 39 of Sweet, and then episodes 12 of both Max Heart and Delicious Party PreCure. I believe that the second Max Heart movie is closer to like episode 30, so it'll be a while before we get there.
And we will do our best to record in a timely manner, but I've got work stuff going on this week, so it's possible next week's episode will be late.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, I will give the succinct summary in, I want to say order of importance, but I don't know if that's true. But, okay.
In 3/4 time. Ni sun.
Victory! Oh, wait, no, that's not what they say. Wait, that it is.
That
okay,
is
sorry.
what they say.
I thought for a second I got them confused with Tropical Rouge. They also said victory, but sometimes multiple seasons say the same thing.
Sometimes they do.
In Sweet 36, Mephisto goes back to Minor Land, and he is... I don't know if this is age appropriate, but he's tripping balls. He's having a hard time where he's like in pain and he's kind of like seeing himself in a forest and he's like, wait, am I looking for someone? Am I not? And it's a real bad time. But then he goes back to the town, to Cannon Town, and the 3 main girls start to fight him. And Akko is there, who is now given her backstory, and she's not sure if she wants to fight or not. And basically the other girls are like, no, your feelings will reach him, you have to fight. And so she transforms, and we get the first Cure Muse transformation on screen, which is great. And they save Mephisto from the evil influence. This directly leads into the movie, which is about the... Music starts going wrong in Cannon Town. People are playing on their trumpets and their piccolos and their flutes or whatever, and instead of making sound, it's just silence. And there's like weird distortions in the air, and they realize that something must be wrong in Majorland, so all of the characters, Mephisto, newly reformed, Hummy, and all 4 of the PreCure, go to Majorland. They find out that maybe Aphrodite is behind the badness that is happening. Akko and Mephisto go to confront Aphrodite. The other girls go into the forest to take a girl home who's friends with Akko, and really it's just a plot device to get the 2 sets of characters separated. And really this movie is about Mephisto wanting to be a good dad to Akko, and Akko realizing that she loves her dad, and then... they come together and they fight this monster, and the Miracle Light gives Hibiki a new power that maybe we'll see again, maybe we won't. She becomes Cure Melody Crescendo, or Crescendo Melody, something like that. And they defeat the bad guy and happiness is restored.
Yay!
Episode 38, turns out Falsetto is secretly the number 2 henchman of the bad guy, whose name is Noise, as we found out. And he is abusive to bass drum, or bass drum, whichever, and also baritone.
He has just been saving up these vibes this whole season.
He really has. It's the long con. But also, episode 37 is the Halloween episode. So we get Hibiki dressed as a pirate. We get Ellen was dressed up. Do you remember what? No, Ellen was dressed up as a black cat. But what was Kanade dressed up as?
She wasn't a princess.
No, Akko was a princess. Kanade was something. I'm sure Catherine...
She was a witch.
That's right! Yes, she looked great as a witch.
I don't know. I don't think witches really go with PreCure.
But the minor trio, really Falsetto, being flanked by the other 2 goons, show up, and they create a negatone, and Muse saves the day again. And that's basically all for Sweet. And I don't think that we really get a big... hint as to what's coming up. Probably more Falsetto hijinks, honestly. And then We have Max Heart 11, in which we find out that holding hands is the most powerful emotion of all. And that is how they win the day. And they also get the new item, the Buy Our Merchandise seal, which can store all of the Hearty Ales in it. And then that's it. Delicious Party 12. You have more negging of Gentlu. Like, basically, like, you're doing a bad job, you suck, we're gonna fire you if you don't do a better performance. And so she hatches a scheme to get Ran and Yui held back at school. They have to do like an after-school makeup test kind of a situation, so that Gentlu can face Kokone and beat the crap out of her because, enemies divide and all that. But in the end, the girls show up and save the day, and they figure out that Gentlu was always President Amane all along, but she seems to not remember. Like, there seems to be an Amane and a Gentlu personality, which is kind of what I predicted. I called it.
And her eyes change. So I remember seeing Amane in her street clothes with the red eyes.
Yes.
So I think that was Gentlu in Amane's street clothes body.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it was Gentlu pretending to be Amane. And so she returns back to normal, and she seems to be like, hang on, where am I? And the girls are like, we're going to help you, but then Narsatoru shows up and goes, nope, I'm taking her, and kidnaps her back to the Boondaroo gang hideout. I don't think they're in like a specific world that we know the name of, like Minorland, for example. But those have been your succinct summaries.
Those were perfect. You were so succinct. Where would you like to start our discussion? How about with Max Heart?
I was about to say, let's get Max Heart out of the way.
Did anything happen in Max Heart this week?
Now, I mean, like I said, they did get a new piece of merchandise that you can buy. It's what's it actually called? It's the Cheriel.
No, it's the Cheract.
The Cheract. It's combining the word chair and connect.
Yeah.
And that's basically it.
That's where the Heart Eels live. I actually really liked this episode of Max Heart. What about you?
No. I mean, it was okay, but what did you like about it?
The whole point of both this season and the previous season is Honoka and Nagisa's friendship and the way that they build off of each other.
Friendship with heavy air quotes. Heavy implied air quotes.
This whole season so far, Nagisa has had a really hard time figuring out how to captain the cheer squad. Like, she's not really tough.
Not the cheer squad, the
cheer squad.
The lacrosse team.
How to captain the lacrosse team. Maybe my brain is soup. We should get that checked out. She's had a really hard time figuring out how to captain the lacrosse team because she's not strict and she doesn't inspire discipline. So how is she going to get this group of girls to get along? But Honoka holds her hands and says, I feel like when we're holding hands, my feelings and yours are connected. And later, Hikari comes and she holds Nagisa's hands during the game. And Nagisa realizes she does have a way that she can encourage these girls. She can use the lessons she's learned from Honoka. So she has them all hold hands and she goes, aren't we always working toward the same goal? Can't you feel that in each other? And I just thought that was really nice. Like, what a great way to encourage teamwork.
Yeah, I think that it speaks to the themes of PreCure. So in that sense, it is a better episode, but I still just kind of... Like I said last week, I'm not really a huge fan of these characters, and so it seems strange to me that Nagisa would be captain of the lacrosse team just because she's the best player. You would think that it would actually go to whoever would be the best captain, I guess. And also, maybe this is a thing that's different between Japanese club and sports activities and in the States, but we had a coach when I was in high school and I was on different teams, cross country and track were my two. And so it seems weird that there isn't someone older who can help get them to work together. It would be cool if they had a coach and the coach was super strict and was just like, you two just get along. And then maybe Nagisa could be the one who gets them to actually be on the same wavelength, not by demanding that they get along, but by doing the hand-holding ritual type thing.
Yeah, I think that would be reasonable. Other than that, I don't think I really have much to say about this episode. Hikari really is just nothing, isn't she? She just sort of... makes scared sounds until Honoka and Nagisa show up.
I will say she did have a moment. So there's this big lacrosse game, and Nagisa really wants to win, and Viblis, I think is her name, she shows up and she creates a Zakena. Cool Zakena, I want to say. I liked the design of this one. It kind of looked like Duralaman, I think is its name, from Pokemon. But Viblis shows up, and Hikari, is like, I can't ask Honoka and Nagisa to help me out because that would interrupt the game. I would say saving the world is more important than a lacrosse game, but I get where her heart's coming from. So that was kind of a cool moment from her, basically being like, I'm not going to cry, uncle, no matter how much you want me to. But gosh, am I not a fan of the hijinks that goes on with the kid back in the mansion. Every episode, they're doing a different thing that children typically do. So one episode, it was like he was in like a little race car cart and they were running around with him. And there was one episode that was baseball, and this episode was some board game, I think, or something. And I don't care. He's showing no sign that he's actually the evil vessel, and I hope that they pull a twist, that this is just some random kid that the Zakenas and Dracula are raising, and then they're like, wait, this is just a kid. He's just a kid. That would be great.
He's just a kid. Absolutely. I think that would be a lot of fun.
I do want to say the chair act. At the beginning of the episode, Hikari is at the taco shop or the takoyaki shop, and she looks over and there's a bag. And she goes, is this bag yours? To older senpai lady whose name I've forgotten, I'm sorry. And she goes, no, that's not mine. And then Hikari leaves, and then later she realizes it's in her bag, and she's like, I didn't grab it. I just want to say, if this were a video game, the item name would be mysterious object, and the description would be, what use could this possibly serve? And I find it interesting that they immediately reacted and turned it into the chair act, because I was kind of thinking maybe this would be a multiple episode mystery and that would be kind of interesting, but no, they just, here it goes, it's activated.
It would be super funny if it had followed her around for a couple of episodes. Like, that could have been the mystery for the next episode, since this episode was kind of about Nagisa. Mm-hmm. Also, I saw this rock, and my immediate thought was, this is a JoJo's rock. She's cursed. It's following her, and there's an enemy stand user somewhere who's cursed her, and they're gonna have to punch him.
I would love that.
You know that scene from Golden Wind where they're like, where's the enemy? There's the enemy! And they start just
the crap out of that person. Mm-hmm.
Imagine that, but Nagisa.
Is Honoka or Hikari the one who's calmly sipping the tea and then joins in the kicking?
That's that's Honoka. Okay. Hikari's the one who's like, he's not fighting back. I don't think that is an enemy. I think it's just a regular dude.
Absolutely. I love that. Sweet, PreCure.
I love Mephisto so much. Mephisto is the MVP of this series.
Most valuable papa.
This poor man, he loves his family so much, and noise took over him, and he didn't have any agency in this. Oh, my heart.
Yeah, I find it interesting because as a villain at first, I called him Wario because he was so ineffective as a villain, and that was part of the reason why we were like, I wonder if maybe there's someone controlling him, because this doesn't seem like end villain material. But then when he got serious and actually showed up in the real world and was creating his hydras in last week's episodes that we covered, it felt like, oh, when he gets serious, he can be dangerous. But then, when they purify him, he becomes a total soft boy. And I love that. I love seeing a doting father, a caring father, but it is interesting because I was kind of hoping that maybe he was a competent king, and it seems like he's kind of just, he's a big old doofus, you know?
It was not only wicked precious to see him with Akko, but then to find out he's a wife guy on Maine, too.
Absolutely.
Perfect. That was in the movie. There's a scene where he refuses to kill Aphrodite.
She freaking asks him to kill her.
And then summons a sword.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and he picks it up and he's like, Well, F that. They get the monster out, and he does this super cool move where he, like, catches her and flips in the air and summons his rainbow road, and he's sliding along it, and she starts punching him and being like, what was it, Howling?
Oh, yeah, Howling is the villain of the movie.
I had Howling sealed. What's wrong with you? And he's like, of course I couldn't kill you. And then he turns to attack Howling, and he uses the happily married couple punch.
It doesn't work because he is, in fact, an angry sentient cloud, but at the same time, he tries his best.
Mephisto's just such a doof. I love him. I'm a sucker for well-meaning idiot, you know? Like,
sure.
I love my family. I'm gonna do my best. I probably won't succeed, but that's okay because I'm trying.
It was super great, and I liked it. I liked that he basically feels as though Akko has gone and grown up on him when he wasn't looking, and now he's not sure, like, how to interact with her and stuff, and he wants to sing her a tune in order to cheer her up, but A, he can't remember her favorite song, and B, she's too worried about Aphrodite to, like, let the song into her heart. But then later in the movie, it turns out, she wants to... Their hearts are resonating because they have a common goal or whatever.
Yeah, so, like, I wouldn't say that I liked this movie as a movie, but as a really long episode, I would have enjoyed it. You know what I mean? Like, it didn't feel like it had the same stakes as an actual movie, and also, there was some random side character, and there's no reason for her to be in the movie, really.
No, the reason she's there is to separate Hibiki, Kanade, and Ellen from Akko, so that Akko and her mom and her dad can have, like, a moment together. I realized that, but watching it, I was definitely like, is she gonna do anything relevant at any point? No? Okay.
Did we need Hibiki and the rest of them in the movie at all? Could it just have been about Akko and her family?
You can't do a PreCure movie that's just about one of the girls.
I can do it, okay. What if Akko's like, I'm going back to Majorland, I'm gonna live there with my mom and my dad, and the girls are like, no, Soda'll miss you, you're part of the team, you're PreCure, and she's like, no, I only became PreCure to save my dad is saved. She goes back, and then the thing with Howling
inciting incident
happens, right? And the girls have to try to find a way to Majorland, and then in the meantime, while the girls are doing that, Akko is there experiencing all the same stuff we saw in this movie. She still gets sealed in the bubble. Mephisto still does his dad thing. There's still the weird sword scene. I really thought PreCure went in a dark direction with that. And, like, I don't mind it, but wow, that was a lot.
Could you imagine in a hypothetical alternate world where... Because these characters don't really have agency, they're fictional and they follow the script, but could you imagine, like, Mephisto does realize that he has to kill Aphrodite, and he just goes back to the realm afterwards to Odakichi and is just like, so killed your daughter. Like, that would be a weird conversation. But luckily that is not what we got.
Oh man, in a slightly different style of show, we could have had Odakichi there, and when Mephisto refuses, Odakichi tries to take up the sword because he's sealed noise before. Like, he's a man who's not afraid to do what needs to be done. And then Mephisto is like, that's your daughter. And then they have a really cool, highly animated fight.
Oh, okay.
And at the end, Mephisto is like, let me try this other way. And they try another way, and it works.
Yeah, I would like that. Also, it should be noted that we get the major three instead of the trio, the minor or minor trio. And they're incredibly good-looking men. And in your hypothetical version where Akko goes to Majorland and the girls can't join in the fight, you could have Aphrodite possessed by evil or whatever the case may be like, if those girls figure out how to get here, all four of them together might actually be a thorn in my side, so I'll dispatch these three minions of mine to the real world, and that's another thing that kind of holds them up back there.
Perfect. See, we have adequately script doctored this movie into a better movie.
Absolutely. I do want to say, after Akko transforms into Cure Muse, her call sign or whatever is playing the tune of the goddess, Cure Muse.
That's right up your alley. They were, like, on Google Maps, and they were like, how do I get to Joel's alley? And it was like, turn right at the song of the goddess.
Absolutely. And we also... Akko is still a bit... shy's not exactly the right word, but she's a little closed off to the other girls, despite the fact that they've been through quite a bit at this point. But Dodori eventually goes to the other girls and is like, Akko's feeling really grateful that you're here. And she goes, Dodori, stop telling them my feelings. She's showing emotion. Her and Aphrodite, both of them in the last 2 episodes and in the movie, they were given actual personalities where they conflict with other people and they show emotion. And it's good. It's elevated them to a new level for me.
You wrote down something that I said while watching this episode. And if you could clarify for me why I said this, I'd appreciate it, because I can't remember. But what I said was, Mephisto, please don't wander around while playing VR.
Yeah. So Mephisto, when he returns to Minorland at the beginning of episode 36, he's seeing this vision of a forest, and by the end of the episode, it turns out that he's symbolically looking for Akko, but he gets up and he starts walking in the real world because of the vision that he's having.
That's right.
And he falls down some stairs.
Down and stuff. Poor guy.
Yup.
But yeah, do not walk and play VR at the same time. I did that once and I ran into a couple of walls before I finally was like, do I actually have to walk to play this game? No, I do not. I just was like, I don't know how to go forward other than by walking. It was some weird explore a spaceship game.
Yeah, absolutely. I do want to say, in episode 37, the second one that we watched, Falsetto gives monster powers to Baritone and bass drum. And
his name is bass drum.
You can't prove that scientifically.
Is he a fish?
I mean, right now, he kind of looks more like a fish than he did before. but he turns Baritone, he monsterifies them. And Baritone is super sad because Baritone was proud of how he looked. And I did like the minor trio to a certain degree. I thought bass drum had his moments where he was kind of gross, but Falsetto and Baritone, for the most part, I kind of liked their chemistry, and now Falsetto is one of the worst jerks in PreCure history. I do not like him anymore. I wonder if they will revert back next episode, or if this is a permanent transformation. It would be funny if they were monsterized only for the Halloween episode, so they looked different. At the same time, it seems like it's also a power-up, so I assume that they will remain like this until they defeat Falsetto.
Yeah. Man, I just felt so bad for Baritone. Like, he was actually crying, and bass drum was hugging and comforting him, and I think he actually said, stop bullying him.
Yeah, no, it like I said, it's not something that would intimidate me if it was in the MCU or in Star Wars or something, but for this format, it is a very kick the puppy moment to establish that Falsetto has been evil this whole time. Also, he now has an opera mask, or a Phantom of the Opera mask, because, you know, he just needs to look sexy for his bird master.
Right? Well, this is his debut. As an evil idol.
Absolutely. So I think that about does it for Sweet, unless you have any other kind of thoughts.
Aphrodite had feelings in the movie, and that was cool. After the evil was expunged. So now I like her too.
Also, I know that what I find weird about the movie is that did she just go into the forest and find an evil rock and not tell anyone and decide to like absorb its dark energy into herself?
Yeah.
Because you would think that if the legendary PreCure are the legendary heroes who are going to fight evil, and you find an evil rock, you should probably pull out your cell phone, call them up, and be like, "Hey, can you get your ass over here?"
Let that be a lesson to you, kids. Let that be the moral of the movie. If you find an evil rock, don't eat it. Call the proper authorities to dispose of it.
Call the proper friendship-powered authorities. We do also find out that Kier Muse has her own special attack. It's not her finisher. She has that as well, but she has like sparkling shower or something like that, and she creates a bunch of bubbles. I was not expecting bubbles to be her theme, but hey, it connects her to Caesar Zappelli, from JoJo's Part 2, so...
There you go. Did we discover that Odakichi was hot, or did we discuss it in the last episode we recorded?
I don't think that we talked about that on mic, no.
All right, this is important, so everybody...
I think we didn't know that last episode because this is the episode where we got the flashback.
Okay, that's what I thought. That's what I'm trying to say. So, we found out in episode 36 that Odakichi used to be way hotter when he was younger. Like, he's still fun, but you know. He used to be a DILF, now he's a GILF. Anyway, the point is...
This is on a Christian podcast.
Is it?
No. We use the word sexy too many times for this to count as
I really like his design when he was the king of Majorland.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that it's not a patriarchy or a matriarchy. Like, he passed the throne down to his daughter and his son-in-law rather than passing it down to a son. So that's kind of
absolutely cool. I really like that. Also, Mephisto tall. He's just tall. He's like 7.5 feet tall or something, it seems like.
He's so tall. Is it weird that when Mephisto showed up in the very first episode, nobody went, "What is our former king doing here?"
Yeah, it is incredibly weird.
Did Aphrodite make them all forget so they wouldn't be sad?
They got hooked up to the mermaid machine from Tropical Rouge and they all had their memories expunged from their bodies. Also, I still kind of wonder where the minor trio came from, because it seems like Mephisto went into the I mean, it's explicitly shown Mephisto went to go find the healing chest, got possessed by Noise, and then came back and had the minor trio with him. Are they just figments of his imagination? Are they like the beard dwarves but more powerful? Were they in the healing chest? I don't know.
The beard dwarves come from his beard. You don't want to know the source of the minor trio's
earwax. Look, Aphrodite also stores peanut butter in his ears, okay? So she has the same strategy as you do, and the Noise is like, peanut butter, I can monsterize this. I can turn this into 3 villains.
Oh, man. You've heard of bimboification. Falsetto did the opposite to Baritone.
Mm-hmm.
That was a joke I wanted to make earlier and I didn't get to.
He scrunkified him?
No, he is not scrunkly. He's gone beyond the scrunk.
Oh, no.
Yeah, scrunkly implies a certain level of cuteness.
I'm sorry, this has nothing to do with what we're talking about, but Uptown Scrunk.
Uptown, scrunk you up. Yep, 10 out of 10.
All right.
Do we want to finally talk about Delicious Party, the core of this podcast?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's get our fill of Delicious Party.
Did you like episode 11 of Delicious Party PreCure?
It was all right. It wasn't my favorite episode. It wasn't a bad episode. Points in its favor because Ran and Yui head empty. Just no brain cells between them.
Man, I love the way they were playing off of each other, and Kakone was their straight man.
Yes.
I also love that Gentlu made the test the 3 of them had to take extra hard, and Kakone still got a 90% on it.
Yeah. I will say, sorry, really quick, what did you like this episode? Yes or no?
I'm of mixed mind.
Okay. So there's a couple of things about this episode that I found a little strange. Yui and Ran fail the test. It's the student council wants people to take a test, and if they score lower than a 50, they have to stay back for remedial lessons. And she gives everyone else, Gentlu does, Amane, gives everyone else normal tests, but gives those 3 an extra hard test to see if she can trip them up. And I just think that at some point, like, Kakone is a very smart girl. I think she should have noticed that something was wrong. Like, these questions are pretty hard compared to the last pop quiz that I took. What's up with that? And Takumi, Yusuke Urameshi, he shows up and he helps them out, and I kind of expected him to also notice, like, wait, you got this one wrong? You're smart. Anyways, that ended up not being the case. The other thing is that Yusuke is on to Mary's presence. He's like, is Mary behind these monsters? Because Mary showed up and the monsters started showing up. I think they're connected. And he was like, no, they're not connected. And then as soon as she finishes her remedial lessons, she runs off and he goes, wait, because he wants to talk to her. And then she transforms in the middle of the schoolyard, and I really wanted the camera to zoom up and show Yusuke in the window or in the door watching her having transformed, which would lead into the next episode. We'll talk about the title of next episode soon. But there's places where I kind of wish that this episode had gone a little bit differently. But it will be interesting to see Are the girls going to infiltrate the Bundaru gang's hideout? Did they slip a tracker onto Gentle's shoe? Like, how are they going to resolve this?
They wait for her to come back, and the three of them just glomp her. They bring back glomping from mid-2000s conventions.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Oh, man. What if, in the next episode, Mari-chan can't make the delicious field because Yusuke Urameshi is suspicious enough of him to corner him?
Oh. That would be very interesting indeed. Now, we normally go into looking ahead later in the episode, but Narsatoru is like, I'm not done with this puppet. I'm taking her. Do you think next episode she'll show up and be gentleified again, or do you think it's going to take time?
I don't know. How long did it take the first time?
I don't know. I don't know. It happened before the show started, right? Presumably. I think a lot of times when PreCure gets a new general, they spend some time with that character for a little while. So I kind of think that the next couple of episodes should be Narsatoru, while the girls in the background are trying to brainstorm how to find Amane and help her. And then when she shows up again, she can be like extra negafied, and there can be like red crackling energy coming off of her or something, and they have to save her from herself.
Oh, I like that. Absolutely. One thing I didn't like so much about this episode, and this has been a problem for a couple episodes in a row now, is things just feel, like, rushed.
Yeah.
I don't have enough time to sit with any of the drama or any of the reveals. I don't have enough time to sit with any of the drama or the reveals. So, like, Takumi has revealed that he is suspicious of Mari-chan, and normally I would expect that to go over a couple of episodes, but I think it's going to be pretty neatly resolved next episode because they are kind of rushing to get caught up to where they would have been if the hack hadn't happened. So that's disappointing, but like, it is what it is.
Yeah, absolutely. We do also find out, or I guess Precious/Yui kind of figures out that Gentle isn't actually a bad girl. Like, she's stealing recipes, but she regretted making them cry. And also, there were a couple of flashbacks to episodes where she wasn't attacking anyone but the PreCure.
Yeah, Yusuke points out that the monsters she summoned have never attacked the city.
Yeah.
They just sort of stand around making sounds.
Or there's also the very first episode when Gentle attacked the school, there were a couple of, student council members, and she basically trapped them inside of, a locker or something, or a shed, and that actually kept them out of harm's way in retrospect, and so Yui's like, I think you're a good person, which is, yeah, good. She says specifically, this isn't to the PreCure, this is to Narsatoru, but no, I want to do my job with elegance and gentleness. So she sees herself as a kind of gentle thief, and she is not a win at all costs kind of person. She believes in a time when women had chivalry and rules, and there was honor on the battlefield.
And you always wore a tall hat.
Absolutely. What if she has an energy fairy under her hat? She pulls it up, and there's just been, a little penguin sleeping in there this whole time or something.
A small creature!
A cat. That's just nibbling on... Anyways.
What if Narsatoru and, Secretary?
Secretoru.
Secretoru, thank you. I knew her name was something like that, but what if Narsatoru and Secretoru can't go to the human world?
No, Narsatoru was there, right? He appeared
he was in the Delicious Field.
So maybe he can enter the Delicious Field, but he can't go to the regular world? Maybe.
Yeah, maybe that's why they needed Amane.
Yeah, some kind of a vessel.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that... I don't know. It feels like we're not going to have a story after Gentle gets taken out, like Secretoru and Narsatoru haven't gone to the battlefield, and maybe that's because they can rely on their minion. But I'm a little nervous about the tone of the show once they get these early reveals out of the way. We already know Gentle is Amane. That's been revealed. We already have all three of the girls. We already have Yusuke or Takumi figuring out that Mari's related. So it just kind of feels like we're rushing to, the mid-season, but we're only 12 episodes in, and I hope that it doesn't take a dip after they get those storylines out of the way.
Agreed. I'm looking forward to where the show is going next.
we also discover that we discover the new attack names for Kokone and Ran and or Spicy and Yum Yum. They have PreCure delicious spicy bacon. Baking, but with the G missing. Bacon. I just don't want it to sound like I'm saying bacon, like fried pig meat or whatever.
Oh, I had a good laugh about that. Trust me.
And then Yum Yums is PreCure delicious Yum Yum drain, and when it causes an explosion, it's heart-shaped. I don't know if you saw that, but
I did not.
It's so good.
Is it drain because, like, you drain the noodles?
I guess so. Yeah. I assumed, because I play a lot of Pokemon, that it was like it steals the enemy's HP and adds it to your own, but I think what you're saying makes much more sense. Absolutely.
Can I just say I am of two minds on Ran. Mm-hmm. On one hand, she is so weird. But on the other, I vibe with this. I feel a deep sort of kinship to Ran. She had a dream that she was swimming in potato salad.
Yeah.
And the girl's conversation continues around her, and she mutters to herself, dipped in potato salad from head to toe. Ran? You good? You good, babe?
I'm not familiar with potato salad as a dish, but I would love to be dipped head to toe in scalloped potatoes or garlic mashed potatoes or French fries. You know, I vibe with her. I get what you're saying, but also that is a little weird. That's not a normal dream that someone has.
I have a lot of weird food dreams like that, but I don't know that I would want anything to touch my skin.
Okay, yeah, that's absolutely... See, that's why you don't want to be head to toe in, like, a calzone, because you would be baked alive in there. The sauce would burn you.
Right. Well, and, like, Japanese potato salad, I believe, is mayonnaise-based. Ah. So imagine slathering yourself in mayonnaise. Does that sound pleasant to you? Because to me, that just sounds slippery.
To me, it sounds like a Thursday evening. Or one of those times when I'm trying to win a race, and so I slather myself in mayonnaise because it might help me be just that extra bit more slippery, so I can dive onto my stomach and do a penguin glide across the finish line.
Do those times happen a lot?
Just twice, but it's weird that it's happened twice, am I right? Anyways, you want to move on to sweet sound bites?
I would love to move on from this.
James, that one welder guy, had thoughts about a lot of these different episodes. His first one was Mephisto is not allowed to look soft. And, I don't know, Mephisto's look, now that he has been cleansed of evil, it's growing on me. At first I wasn't sure about it, but I really like him.
He's just a dad. He does give me Legend of Zelda vibes.
Okay, yeah. He might remind you, maybe, you're thinking of Groose from Skyward Sword, because they both have red hair and they're both doofuses.
I'm thinking of if Ganondorf decided to be good.
Oh, okay. But also a dork, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Ganondorf is, like, the leader of, like, a military tribe in Ocarina of Time and that sort of thing. So, like, he's competent.
Here's the thing. I've seen a lot of fan comics regarding Zelda and Ganondorf, and this is the kind of vibe that I get from the fan comics.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
They woobify him, or whatever that phrase is called, so that he can better fit in a just a regular relationship rather than like an abusive one. We didn't talk about this, but at the beginning of the Sweet movie, so I watched the first like 10 minutes of this movie, and then I realized like, we can watch it together tonight or whatever after work, and I told you, I was like, be prepared for the weirdest opening to a movie yet. And Mephisto wants to thank Sota for being good friends with his daughter, figures out where Sota lives, decides that he's going to not knock on the front door, but climb a ladder up to his balcony, like it's like Romeo and Juliet or something. I'm not saying there's romantic tension, but I'm just like what a weird way to try to say to talk to someone, gets the room wrong, so knocks on Kanade's door. She freaks out, and Soda gets a bat because he thinks it's a home intruder. And then the parents call the police, and Mephisto's in the holding cell or whatever you want to call it, the interrogation room.
Best montage I've ever seen. I was laughing the whole time.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. They don't explain why he was there until after they've played the opening credits, and I was just, the entire time I was confused. The imagery is great, but also, what is going on here?
Well, and Mephisto, babe, you want to go talk to a young boy in his bedroom early in the morning?
Yeah, like...
Couldn't you just, like, go to the bakery during the day?
Yeah, there's nothing about this that makes any sense whatsoever. But James's point was he at least needs to be jailed for, like, 30 minutes so he can think about what he's done.
I feel like Odakichi puts a lot of effort into managing his idiot son-in-law.
Yeah, I think so.
And bless his heart for doing so.
Odakichi says, like, you need to be a dad to Akko soon or something like that, and I think that's his way of saying, like, look, buddy, you're not paying your rent, you're not really contributing, you don't have a job, the one thing that you need to do is love that daughter instead of being, like, this weirdo.
Yeah, Odakichi is being very patient, but if you get arrested again for breaking into a young girl's room...
His patience only goes so far. And then for 37, James's only thoughts was that the costumes were cute for all of them. Oh, and Hummy was a cupcake. I think that Hummy's costume is perfect for Hummy, but it also looks the least practical. I kept thinking that Hummy was going to, like, fall over and be unable to get up, and so that's what makes me not like the cupcake outfit as much as...
Honestly, Hummy's used to being top-heavy. Apparently, as a toddler, I had just a giant head, and I fell over constantly, and my parents' joke was always that my head was too heavy for my body.
I mean, for many toddlers, for some point in their life, that is true. That's absolutely true.
Yep.
And then lastly, we have the delicious thoughts.
Hey, wait. It's very important to point out that we finally got the resolve in the major scale.
Absolutely.
That's been bugging James this whole time. Neither of us are music people, so we only know what that means through context, but I'm happy for you, James.
Yeah. Well, see, I was able to figure out from the fact that I knew that there was a fourth cure that when the girls transformed and they do two earrings apiece and it rises... Is pitch the right word? Anyways, we are not music people. But I recognize that once Muse joined, it would be all 8 notes in the scale or whatever. But yes, James is definitely more musically oriented, and it was driving him crazier than it was driving us.
You can tell, once again, that I would be on the villain team if I existed in a PreCure universe, because my first thought when Howling started to make everything silent was... Well, that wouldn't be so bad. Very easily overstimulated by sound. I have a sibling who is a drummer, and she's wonderful at it, but I have to have noise-canceling headphones on.
Catherine has threatened to use force. If, I don't want to make it sound like this is credible, right?
You were trying to be funny, yeah.
Catherine has threatened to throw cold spaghetti at my face because I don't like silence and I will fill it with humming and singing to myself and talking to myself. I don't even realize I'm doing it some of the times. And depending on Catherine's patience that day, depending on if she's had a good day or a bad day, she's ready to hurl cold spaghetti at my face.
At one point in my life, I could listen to, like, the radio in the car, and I've gotten to the point where work is so overstimulating that by the time I'm in the car... everything is silent. There is no sound.
Absolutely. I did have this thought after the last set of episodes, but after I'd seen 36 and 37, before we sat down to record, I was wondering if Noise is the best villain you could have in Sweet PreCure, or if a villain called Silence would have been better. Although, it would be hard to... you can't hypnotize someone with silence, I don't think. So, Anyways, we can now move on to James's sweet sound bites about a delicious party PreCure. We've got to impeach the student council president. She has caused crimes in this,
Does it count as committing a crime if your eyes change color and an alter ego makes you do it?
I think legally you have to prove that they're two distinct personalities, but yes.
Would she be able to aid her legal counsel in her defense? If she doesn't even know what she did, I'm going to say no, in which case she could not be held accountable for her crimes.
Interesting. I hope that we get an entire episode of Delicious Party PreCure that's just about the legality of Gentlu and Amane as separate characters.
You want a quick court lesson?
Sure.
Okay, so before you go to court, depending on the circumstances, you may be assessed for whether you are competent to stand trial. And basically the idea is, like I said, can you aid in your defense? So there are 3 possible outcomes there. One outcome is you are competent, so you go to trial and you either go to jail or you don't.
Which is probably typical of most people.
Yes. One outcome is not competent but restorable, which means you can be taught how to aid in your own defense. And so you're taught about the legal system. There's like a specific structured several-week program, and then you go to trial. And then there's not competent, not restorable, in which case you can't aid in your own defense and you probably won't be able to learn, so you just don't go to trial at all.
Sure. And lacking the cognitive abilities due to some event or another. Yeah, yep. Absolutely.
So it's very interesting to see how the court works up close. But that's not really relevant to a PreCure podcast.
Not until they have a PreCure season where they're all lawyers. Quick, write that down.
Ace Attorney PreCure. Let's make it happen, Toei. One of them can talk to ghosts or whatever.
Also, this is not necessarily a novel observation. It's happened in other shows, especially Tropical Rouge. But this episode ends on a young girl being abducted by a weird vampire mad scientist dude who works for an organization that's trying to steal flavor of delicious food. It's a dark moment. And then it immediately goes into, today's flavor is soda pop. That was James's other observation, and it never gets any easier, you know? Every single time they're like, the president has just been attacked and is in a coma and may never wake again. Everyone, let's clap our hands. Ha, la, 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 la.
Babe, I've got a theory that's equal parts crack and realistic.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Maybe.
What if the Boondaroo Gang is actually an offshoot of some national food conglomerate? And the reason that they are gathering all the recipes is they want people to only buy their food. And so you've got Secretoru, she's like the team secretary, and you've got Narsatoru, he's in charge of product development.
He's R&D, research and development, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I could vibe with this, and
Gentlu
this is why...
was the intern. That's how she got roped in.
Yes, exactly. He roped me into this. But that's why Godats is a cat, because at the head of all these companies, you always have the
fat cat.
The stereotypical fat cat stereotype.
Yeah. I don't think you can have a non-stereotypical stereotype. Just so you know, I just checked the dictionary. Thesaurus. Okay.
Hey, what do you call a dinosaur who knows a lot of words?
Steve?
Well, if that were his name, I guess.
But what would you call them?
I mean, his species would be a thesaurus.
I was like, come on, man, you set up a joke. Give me the punchline. Episode 12.
Punchline for you.
The episode 12 of Delicious Party PreCure is titled Protect the Stolen Memories. Takumi's secret is revealed.
Who steals memories? Can you steal memories like you steal peepees?
I don't know. He went to the Mermaid Islands. This is a Tropical Rouge Part 2 series in secret.
So do you think they're his stolen memories, or do you think that Gentlu/Amane had memories stolen?
I mean, we had the weird stuff with Amane not recognizing where she was at the end of this episode, so it would make sense if they go and they try to break into the Boondaroo Gang's hideout and they have to, like, restore her mind, otherwise she'll fall into darkness. But it's just weird if the first part of the episode title is referring to Gentlu/Amane and the second half is referring to Takumi/Yusuke Urameshi. My question is if Takumi can transform, he has always been a magical girl / magical boy. I don't know what term they would use, but why didn't he help out before? So I don't know. I think it's his secret past is going to be revealed. Like he partially finished his training under Mary or something, and then for some reason he forgot. And then this episode he's going to remember, and he's going to take that final step to complete his training, and then he's going to transform into the masked figure from the opening.
Yeah, I mean, I think that could be it. I'm really looking forward to seeing how that resolves. What is your speculation for his superhero persona name?
Honestly, all I can think of is just Gentle or Gentle Mask. Gentle Mask is from something, isn't it?
Tuxedo Mask is from Sailor Moon.
Okay, I might be thinking of Gentle from My Hero Academia, but his name is just Gentle, I think.
Oh, could be. What about... He's got a large hat. Like, okay. I feel like maybe that's relevant in some way to his...
The wide-brimmed justice.
the wide-brimmed chef. Oh my god, he has a little ratatouille rat under there.
And that has been your final thought. Outro goes here. Thanks for listening, everyone, and don't forget to Tropica Shine. Don't forget to eat your fill of delicious, nutritious noodles.
Don't forget to shove handfuls of meat into your mouth. Raw meat, don't even cook it. Just put it and keep going. I don't care if you're full. Eat it. Eat it.
Please.
Thank you all for joining us for another delicious plateful of
Cure of the What Now.
Please take a moment to rate and review wherever you get your podcasts from.
Or if you're watching on YouTube, be sure to leave a comment, a like, or lick that subscribe bell so you know when the new episodes are going up.
Did you just say lick it?
Well, yeah, we're baking delicious foods. It's a delicious party.
Anyway, you can find me on Twitter @PirateGhostHost. Please don't lick me.
Can you even lick a ghost? I'm on Twitter @Cotwin_pod.
KOTWN_pod.
Absolutely. And as always, the Discord link is in the Twitter bio and also in the YouTube description.
Come join us for weekly discussions, streams, and all of the PreCure your heart can handle. Thanks for listening, everyone.
Yum. Or no, I'm full.